The sun was slowly dipping behind the broken skyline of Los Angeles. Neon signs buzzed softly above closed shops, and hovercars zoomed overhead, their engines humming like quiet thunder. People walked quickly, heads down, minds lost in their digital screens. No one looked up. No one listened. Except for one. On a cracked sidewalk near the edge of downtown, a girl sat on an old plastic crate. Her clothes were faded, her shoes torn. A small tin can lay in front of her, holding a few coins and a half-eaten protein bar. She held no instrument, only her voice filled the air. Her name was Mira. She sang softly at first, as if afraid the world would tell her to stop. But her voice, clear, gentle, and haunting, slowly grew louder. It was unlike any other song on the street. It had no known words, no modern tune. The melody rose and fell like waves. Some parts sounded joyful, others carried a sadness that touched something deep inside. People walked past without hearing it. But one man stopped. He wore a long dark coat, clean shoes, and a simple silver badge on his chest with the word Ecliptech engraved on it. He looked like he belonged to another world, one with shining windows, flying elevators, and rooms full of quiet machines. His name was Thal N. He had not planned to stop. He had important meetings, new AI deals, and a dinner reservation with someone powerful. But Myra's voice pulled at him like a memory he didn't have. He stood still, watching her. Mira didn't see him. Her eyes were closed, and her body swayed slightly with each note. She didn't know where the song came from. It had always been with her. When she was alone, when she was hungry, when the nights were cold, the song had no name. But it had always been there. When she finished the song, she slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze met Thalen's. She expected him to walk away like the others. Instead, he stepped closer. "That was different," he said, his voice calm but curious. Mira looked away. "I just sing, nothing special." Thalen knelt slightly to be at her level. "Where did you learn that song?" "I didn't. I just know it," she replied, unsure how to explain. He paused. Something about her words stayed with him. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small silver chip. "Here, for the song." She looked at it, surprised. It wasn't a coin. It was a digital credit chip worth more than she'd ever seen. "I can't take that," she said. "It's yours," he said, "if you'll let me ask you a few questions." Mira hesitated. She had learned not to trust strangers, especially the rich ones, but this man didn't seem dangerous. His eyes weren't cold. They were thoughtful. She nodded slowly. They sat together on the edge of the sidewalk. People passed by, confused, some even annoyed, but neither of them cared. "Have you always lived on the street?" Thalen asked. "Mostly," Mira replied, "or in shelters. I don't remember much about where I came from. No family? Not that I know of." He studied her for a moment, then spoke again. "Would you like to come to my office? Just for a visit. I run a company that works with sound music, voices, things like that." "I think your voice is unusual," Mira frowned. "Why me? I'm just a street kid." "Maybe," he said. "But sometimes the streets hide the best things." Mira looked at the chip again, then at the man. Her instincts told her to be careful, but something else told her this could change everything. She nodded. Thalen tapped his wristband. A small black vehicle rolled silently to the curb. The door slid open. Mira looked around nervously, but no one paid attention. With a deep breath, she stepped inside. The car's seats were soft, and the air smelled clean like rain. She had never been in a self-driving cruiser before. She watched the buildings pass by through the window. Thalen sat quietly, giving her space. After a short ride, they arrived at a tall glass tower. The name Ecliptech glowed at the top. Mira followed Thalen through shining doors and quiet halls. Everyone stared, but no one said a word. He led her into a room filled with small machines and glowing screens. In the center stood a round platform. "Stand here," Fallon said gently. "Don't worry, we're just going to record your voice." Mira stepped onto the platform. A soft light surrounded her. She took a deep breath and began to sing. The melody flowed again, like water through stone. But this time, something strange happened. One of the nearby screens flickered, then another. A low hum filled the room, and an eye assistant's voice stuttered and stopped. Fallon's eyes widened. "What's wrong?" Mira asked, stopping mid-song. Fallon turned to his team, who had rushed in after the disturbance. "Her voice just crashed our top-level system." "That shouldn't be possible." One of the engineers stared at the screen. "It's reacting to her tone, like it recognizes something." Mira stepped back. "Did I do something bad?" "No," Fallon said softly, his mind racing. "You did something." "Impossible." He looked at her not with fear, but with awe. Something inside Mira's song wasn't just music. It was something bigger. Something not of this world. Mira stood in the middle of the strange room, her hands tight against her sides. The round platform beneath her feet still glowed faintly. Around her, blinking machines and large monitors beeped and hummed. She had stopped singing, but the air still felt thick, as if the song had not truly ended. Fallon stepped forward, his face calm, but his eyes full of thought. He looked again at the frozen screens and the quiet machines. One of the A's that had been helping with the test remained completely unresponsive. "I didn't mean to break anything," Mira said quietly. She took a small step back, her voice shaking. "You didn't break anything," Fallon replied gently. "You woke something up." The engineers around the room were whispering to each other. A few were typing fast, trying to restart systems. One of them, a short woman with glasses, looked at Fallon. "Sir, we've never seen this before." Her voice hit a frequency that activated some kind of pattern inside the AI's core. The system didn't crash from damage, shut itself down. Like it was listening. Fallon turned back to Mira. "That song. Where did you really learn it?" "I told you," Mira said. "I don't know. I've always known it. Since I was small, I used to hum it when I was scared or cold. It just makes me feel safe." Fallon rubbed his chin. His mind raced through the possibilities. He had studied rare sound patterns, lost music from ancient places, even audio signals picked up from deep space. But this girl, this street singer, had just sung something that reacted with the most advanced system Ecliptech had ever built. And it wasn't just a technical glitch. The eye had stopped working, like it had heard something familiar. He looked back at Mira, who now stood quietly near the door, ready to run if she had to. "Don't worry," Fallon said softly. "You're safe here. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, you may have done something amazing." Mira didn't answer. She didn't trust kind words. She had heard them before, but they always ended with people walking away. Fallon walked over to his desk and picked up a small screen. He tapped it a few times, then looked at her. "Do you have anywhere to stay tonight?" Mira shrugged. "There's a shelter near the train station, if they have space." Fallon nodded. "I'd like to offer you a room, just for a few days. It's quiet, safe and clean. And I'd like to run some more voice tests, nothing scary, just singing like before." Mira looked at him carefully. "Why?" "I'm just a girl who sings." Fallon smiled. "Maybe, or maybe you're more than that." That night, Mira sat in a soft bed for the first time in years. The guest room in Fallon's private building was small, but clean and warm. A gentle yellow light hung from the ceiling. The window showed the skyline of LA, bright and strange. She touched the edge of the bed. The sheets were smooth. She didn't want to sleep. Part of her thought she might wake up back on the street. Her mind went back to the test room. The machines, the glowing lights. The way everyone had stared when she sang, not with pity, but with surprise. Like she was important. She sang a few soft notes to herself, just enough to calm her nerves. And again, she felt the strange pull in her chest, like the song was more than just sound, like it was trying to speak. But speak to who? The next morning, Fallon met her in a large, open lab with tall windows and clean white floors. His team had cleared the room and added better sound equipment. Today, Fallon said, we'll record the full song, from start to finish. If you're okay with that, Mira nodded. I'll try. He gave her a warm drink and showed her to the center platform again. When she stood there, the machines lit up quietly, waiting. She took a deep breath and began to sing. This time, she didn't hold back. The melody flowed from her like water through a mountain stream. Her eyes stayed closed. Her voice moved from low hums to high notes that shimmered through the air. It didn't sound human, but not alien either. It was something in between. As she sang, the machines reacted again. One monitor displayed a strange shape, a spiral, glowing and turning slowly. Another screen showed a language no one could read. Even the engineers froze. Then one of the oldest is in the lab, a quiet assistant named Unit 3 suddenly powered on. It had not been used in years. Its voice was slow, almost like a whisper. Pattern recognized, signal identified. Partial. Match with archive file 982A. Unlocking level 2. Everyone froze. Fallon leaned forward. What archive file? Unit 3 replied. Signal structure matched with encoded alien transmission found in orbit year 2072. Access had been denied until now. Mira stopped singing. Alien? She asked. Fal and nodded slowly. Yes, a signal we picked up from space more than 20 years ago. It never made sense. We couldn't decode it, until now. He looked at Mira with wide eyes. You've been singing a signal from space. A signal that matches data from a place no human has ever visited. Mira blinked. I don't understand. Fallon placed a hand on the console. Neither do we. But this could change everything. Later that day, Fallon made a private call to an old contact, someone deep inside the Earth Federation's technology branch. He shared only a small part of the data, not Mira's name, not yet. I think we found something, Fallon said. The voice on the other side replied coldly, we'll come immediately. Fallon ended the call, his jaw tight. He looked out the window, where Mira sat quietly in the garden below, humming to herself. He knew this discovery would bring attention, good and bad. But he had made a silent promise to Mira. He wasn't going to let the world take her apart like a machine. He was going to protect her, whatever it cost. Mira sat on a bench in the rooftop garden of a Cliptex tower. Flowers grew in neat rows beside her, and soft music played from hidden speakers. Birds, real and artificial, flew quietly across the sky. For the first time in her life, she was not worried about where her next meal would come from or where she would sleep, but she was not at peace. The words from the lab kept playing in her mind. Signal structure matched with encoded alien transmission. Her voice, her song, was it really from space? Was she different? Or just a normal girl with a strange gift? Fallon had told her to rest, but Mira could see in his eyes that something big was happening. She felt like a puzzle piece that suddenly fit into a picture she didn't understand. Down in the lower levels of the tower, Fallon met with his top engineers again. He stood in front of a large screen showing the old alien signal found in orbit in 2072. For years, no one had been able to read it. The data had been locked, studied, and forgotten. Until now. Her voice isn't just similar to the signal, said Dr. Kenro, the lead sound technician. It matches the same wave pattern exactly. Her song is like a key, a code, and it's not human, added one of the AI specialists. At least not completely. Fallon crossed his arms. Are you saying she's alien? No, Dr. Kenro said. She's human. The scan of her DNA shows human structure. But she has a sequence in her genes, just a small one, that doesn't match any known human record. That piece might be where the voice comes from. A mutation? Thelen asked, or something older. Something placed there on purpose. The room fell silent. Then. The lights flickered. Mira was still in the garden when she heard a soft voice near her. You're the one who sings. The voice said. She turned. A man in a dark gray suit stood near the door. He had short hair, a sharp face, and a small silver pin shaped like a star on his jacket. Two others stood behind him, quiet and alert. Yes, Mira replied. Who are you? The man smiled without warmth. My name is Commander Rive. I work with the Earth Federation. We study advanced signals, especially the ones your voice seems to copy. Mira stood up slowly. She didn't like the way he looked at her, like she was a machine, not a person. We'd like to take you with us, Rive said. There are better labs, better doctors. We can help you understand what you are. What I am? Mira asked, frowning. Thelen stepped into the garden from behind them. She's not going anywhere. Rive turned. This is a government matter, Mr. Thelen. That signal is protected data. It doesn't belong to you. Or her. It's part of her voice, Thelen said calmly. Her body. Her life. You don't own that. We can make a request to take custody, Rive said. Try it, Thelen replied, stepping beside Mira, but I won't hand her over without a fight. There was a long silence. Finally, Rive gave a cold nod and turned to leave. We'll be watching, he said. Later that night, Mira and Thelen sat in the top-floor lounge. A holographic screen floated between them, showing lines of sound waves and alien symbols. Why do they want me? Mira asked softly. Because you're rare, Thelen said. Your voice isn't just beautiful, it's powerful. It woke up systems that have been silent for years. Systems the government built to find alien life. Do you think I'm part alien? She whispered. Thelen shook his head. I think you're human, but maybe. Something out there reached Earth a long time ago, left behind a message, a code. And that code became part of someone. Me, Mira said. Yes. She looked out the window at the stars. Then maybe the song is a message. Maybe it's not from me. Maybe it's for someone else. Thelen leaned forward. I want to help you find out. But we have to move fast. The Federation will come. Again, and next time they might not ask politely. What can we do? Mira asked. There's a place, Thelen said. A hidden space array in the desert. It was built to track deep space signals. We can go there, feed your song into the system, and see if anything answers. Mira nodded. Let's do it. The next day, they left LA in a silent cruiser, flying low under the radar. Mira sat beside Thelen, holding tightly to her small bag of clothes. Her heart beat fast. Not with fear, but with a strange excitement. They flew across the desert until a silver tower rose from the sand. The building was small but strong, protected by old satellites and shielded walls. Inside, it was quiet. Dusty screens blinked on as they entered. This is the Orion relay station, Thelen said. No one's used it in years. But it still works. Mira stepped onto the sound platform again. A round dish above her head turned slowly toward the sky. Just sing, Thelen said. Let's see what happens. She closed her eyes and began. The song flowed from her lips, rich and full. The melody filled the room, soft and strange. The machines lit up. Waves of data formed on the screens. The stars above began to respond. Then a voice not hers filled the room. It was deep, soft, and full of light. Receiver identified. Signal complete. Welcome, Bridger. Mira gasped. What was that? Thelen asked. The voice continued. You carry the seed of harmony. You are the path. You are not alone. A symbol flashed on the main screen, a golden spiral, spinning gently. Then silence. Mira stood still. Her voice, her song had spoken to something. And it had spoken back. Fallon looked at her. They called you a bridger. What does it mean? She asked. I don't know yet. He said, but it sounds like they've been waiting for you. The golden spiral still spun slowly on the screen, glowing like a quiet star. The room was silent, but something had changed. The air felt full, as if invisible words were floating around them, just out of reach. Mira stepped down from the platform, her legs shaky. Fallon reached out to steady her. Are you okay? He asked. She nodded, but her eyes were wide. They called me Bridger. What does it mean? Fallon looked at the screen. I don't know. But I think we need to find out. Whoever or whatever answered your song. They know you. Mira sat down slowly on a nearby chair. Her hands were cold, her heart still racing. They said I carry the seed of harmony, she whispered. Does that mean I'm not fully human? Fallon sat beside her. Let's not jump to that. You are human. But something in your voice, your DNA connected with that signal. It's possible your ancestors carried something special, something ancient, from space? She asked, almost afraid to say it. Maybe, Fallon said. There were rumors long ago about a ship that passed near Earth. No contact, just a signal. A few believed it left something behind. And now I'm singing that signal, she sighed. Yes, but not by accident. I think you were meant to. Later that day, back at Ecliptech headquarters, Fallon called his trusted friend and secret research partner, Dr. Hen, a geneticist who worked outside government rules. In a quiet lab, Dr. Hen scanned Mira's blood, voice data, and DNA strands. The results took hours. Mira sat nearby, nervous but silent. Fallon stayed with her. Finally, Dr. Hen returned with a tablet in hand. I found something, he said carefully. Mira stood up quickly. What is it? He showed her the screen. Your DNA is human. But there's a part, just a small section, that doesn't match any Earth record. It's old, older than any known human history. We've only seen this pattern once before. Fallon leaned closer. Where? Dr. Hen's voice dropped. In a piece of debris found in orbit 70 years ago. A piece that came from deep space. It had biological data stored inside it like a seed. That same sequence is inside Mira. Mira's knees almost gave way. She sat back down. So I really do have something alien inside me. Dr. Hen nodded, but not in a scary way. It's not a virus or a weapon. It's more like music written into your cells. A message. A message for who? She asked. Maybe for us. Fallon said, maybe for all of humanity. Or maybe just for you. Meanwhile, back at the Federation base, Commander Reeve stared at his monitor in silence. The secret satellite he had placed on the Orion relay station had recorded everything Myra's song. The reply, the words, Welcome, Bridger. He turned to his assistant. She made contact, he said. The signal's real. Should we go after her now? The assistant asked. No, Reeve said. Not yet. Let her lead us to the next step. But prepare the team. If she becomes a risk, we take control. The next evening, Mira stood on the balcony of Fallon's apartment. The stars above Los Angeles were faint, but she could still see a few blinking softly. She felt small. But for the first time in her life, she also felt important. Fallon stepped outside and stood beside her. How are you feeling? He asked. Strange, she replied. Like I'm not just me anymore. Like I belong to something bigger. He nodded. You might. She looked up at him. Why are you helping me? Fallon thought for a moment. Because I believe in humanity. We've built machines, towers, even cities on other planets. But we've forgotten how to listen. And your voice is something worth listening to. It's not just science, it's beautiful. Mira gave a small smile. It was the first time anyone had called her voice beautiful, not just strange or rare. I don't want to be taken away, she said quietly. I'm scared they'll try to use me. They will, Fallon said honestly. But I won't let them. We'll figure this out, together. The next morning, a signal came to Fallon's private system. It was old, coded, and sent through a forgotten channel. When decrypted, it read, "Come to Lunar Archive 7. She must see what was left behind." Attached was a symbol, the same golden spiral. Fallon looked at Mira. "We need to go to the moon." They left Earth quietly, using Fallon's private shuttle. Mira watched the stars grow brighter as they left the atmosphere. Her heart pounded. She had never flown before. The shuttle landed near a small dome on the moon's dark side. It was an old research base, now abandoned. Inside, it was dusty, but still working. They followed the signal to a locked room. Inside, Mira saw a strange object floating above a platform. It looked like crystal, shaped like a drop of water, glowing faintly. As she stepped closer, the crystal pulsed. Then a voice filled the room. Not like before. This one was clearer, warmer. "If you are hearing this, then our message survived. And the Bridger has awakened." Mira stood frozen. "We came to Earth long ago. Not to rule, not to destroy, but to plant harmony. To guide a voice that could one day open the way between worlds." The crystal glowed brighter. "You are that voice. You carry part of us and part of them. You are the bridge." Then the light faded and silence returned. Mira turned to Fallon. "It's true. I was made for something." Fallon nodded. "Not made, chosen." Back on Earth, a quiet storm was rising. Inside the Earth Federation's main control center, Commander Rive stood in front of a large screen showing Mira's image. She was walking beside Fallon, recorded from a secret drone. Her face was calm, but Rive saw the danger behind it. "She's not a normal girl anymore," he said coldly. "She has information, power, and now she has made contact." One of his officers nodded. "Do we move in?" "Soon," Rive replied. "Prepare a quiet team. We'll bring her in without alerting the public. If Fallon resists, handle him." 2. Myra didn't know she was being watched. She was still on the moon, walking through the old base with Fallon. Her mind was full of questions, but one feeling stood above the rest. She wasn't alone anymore. She touched the clear crystal again, the one that had spoken to her. "You are the bridge. What do you think they want me to do?" she asked. Fallon walked beside her. "Maybe they don't want anything. Maybe they're waiting for you to decide." "Me?" she said, surprised. "I'm not a leader. I used to sing for coins on a street." Fallon stopped and looked at her. "And that song changed everything. You reached something that no machine, no government, no scientist could. That makes you more than you think." Mira was quiet for a moment. "If they trust me, maybe I need to trust myself too." They returned to Earth the next day, but something felt different. Fallon noticed it first. Security bots scanned him twice at the spaceport, which was unusual. Mira also saw strange men in plain black clothes standing near exits, whispering into small devices. She gripped Fallon's sleeve. "Are they here for me?" she asked. "Maybe," he said, staying calm. "We'll be careful." They left through a hidden exit and traveled in an unmarked vehicle back to Ecliptech Tower. The streets were busy as usual, but a silent tension followed them like a shadow. Back at the tower, Fallon locked down all systems and called his top security advisor, Juno. She was sharp, fast, and trusted. "Set up defense protocols," Fallon said. "Someone is coming." "Federation?" she asked. "Most likely," he replied. "And they won't ask nicely this time." Juno nodded and disappeared to prepare. Mira stood near the window, looking out at the city. "What will they do if they catch me?" "They'll say it's for your safety," Fallon said. "But what they really want is control. They'll study you. Maybe lock you away. Maybe worse, because I can sing a song?" She said, "Because your voice connects with something bigger than they can understand," he answered. That night, Mira had a strange dream. She was standing on a floating platform in space, stars all around her. A soft light came from her chest, and her song flowed out like wind. Shapes formed in the stars, spirals, symbols, and faces. She heard the same voice from before. "Do not be afraid. You carry light. Let it guide you." She woke up with a start, breathing fast. Outside, the alarm lights in the tower blinked red. They were here. Juno ran into the room. Federation agents breached the gate. They're demanding entry. Fallon grabbed his coat and turned to Myra. "We have to move. Now." Mira followed as they ran through hidden halls and into a private elevator. The tower shook slightly as drones circled outside. As the elevator dropped, Mira looked up. "Why are they doing this?" "Because they think they're protecting Earth," Fallon said, "but they're doing it the wrong way." When the doors opened, Juno was waiting with a hovercar. They jumped in, and the vehicle shot into the sky, weaving between towers. Behind them, Federation ships followed. The chase led them through the edge of the city and into the wide desert beyond. The car dodged lasers and tracking beams, flying low to avoid detection. Mira held tight, her heart pounding. "Where are we going?" "To someone who can help us," Fallon said. "Someone who believes in what you are." They arrived at a hidden base in the desert, an old science center buried underground. There, a small group of people waited. Scientists, explorers, and ex-military officers, people who had left the system long ago. They were known as the Quiet Circle. Their leader, an older woman named Lena, greeted Mira warmly. "So," Lena said, "you're the girl with the voice of the stars." Mira nodded shyly. "That's what they say," Lena smiled. "Then it's time you learned the rest of the story." Inside, Mira saw data records older than Ecliptex, filled with images of strange symbols, deep space transmissions, and star charts. Lena explained how the Earth Federation had once tried to contact alien life, but when no reply came, they shut the project down. "They didn't understand patience," Lena said. "But now you've unlocked the signal they missed. And that means you can finish what they started. What do I need to do?" Mira asked. "Sing again," Lena replied. "But this time, not just into a machine. We'll help you send it across the stars." Meanwhile, Commander Reeve tracked the signal to the desert. "She's hiding," he said. "Prepare the final strike team. We bring her in no matter what." As Mira stood in front of the large transmission dish that night, the sky above seemed bigger than ever. She took a deep breath and began to sing. The melody rose, filling the sky, echoing across silent hills and cold stars. This time, the signal didn't just respond. It answered. The transmission dish lit up. The stars above shifted, and a deep voice, calm and powerful, echoed across the system. "Bridger, we hear you. The time has come. You have awakened the path." The sky turned bright as something huge moved behind the moon, something that had been waiting in silence for a long, long time. Above the desert, stars flickered in strange patterns. A deep sound, like a slow breath from the universe itself, filled the air. The transmission dish shook gently as Myra's voice faded into silence. Everyone around her stood still. The message had come, and it had come from nearby, not from another galaxy, but from within the solar system. Mira looked up, eyes wide. "They're close." Fallon, standing beside her, nodded slowly. "Yes, they've been waiting." The large monitor next to the dish flickered and came alive. A shape appeared, round, bright, and silent. It looked like a ship, but not like any human ship. It floated beyond the moon, hiding in the shadows. Now it had revealed itself. "Contact confirmed," the deep voice said again. "Bridger has activated the signal." The path is now open. Lena and the members of the quiet circle stared at the screen in disbelief. This changes everything. Lena whispered. Inside the Earth Federation Control Center, alarms rang loudly. Unidentified object near the moon. One officer shouted. Commander. Rive walked to the central screen. His eyes narrowed as the ship appeared in the frame. It had no engines, no windows, no weapons. Just a glowing spiral across its surface. The girl called it, he said. They heard her. He turned to his team. We move now. Secure the girl. Before the world sees her as more than just a voice. Back at the desert base, Mira stood near the dish, still in shock. The wind blew gently across the sand. But something inside her was calm. They answered, she said. After all this time. They finally answered. Fallon placed a hand on her shoulder. You did what no one else could. You gave them a reason to respond. But why me? She asked. I'm just a girl from the street. You're more than that, Fallon said. You carry a voice older than history. You carry hope. Suddenly, Juno rushed into the control room. Federation ships are coming. At least 3. They found us, Lena reacted fast. Shut down surface lights. Prepare the lower tunnels. Mira must not be taken. Mira turned to Fallon. I'm tired of running. They'll never stop. You don't have to run, Lena said. You just need to be heard. The people of Earth don't know who you are, but if they did, maybe they'd stand with you. In a small broadcast room, Mira stood in front of a camera. Fallon adjusted the lens while Lena worked on connecting the stream to old media networks. Still free from control. You ready? Fallon asked. Mira nodded. Let's tell the truth. The broadcast reached millions. Across cities and stations. On old screens and new devices, people saw a simple girl standing under the stars. My name is Mira, she began. I used to sing on the streets of Los Angeles. I was alone, forgotten, but one day, someone listened. Her voice was calm and clear. My song came from somewhere I never understood, a melody I always knew, but never learned. That song wasn't mine alone. It was a signal, a message. She paused, letting the words settle, and now someone has answered. They were never trying to take over. They were waiting for someone who could speak their language, not with words, but with harmony. On the screen behind her, the glowing alien ship hovered in space like a silent promise. I am that voice. But I'm not just speaking for them. I'm speaking for us, for humans. For those who believe in peace, in connection, in something greater than power. People across the world watched in silence. Some cried, some cheered. Some simply listened. Don't be afraid, Myra said, because the stars are listening too. Commander Rave watched the live broadcast with growing anger. She's turning them to her side, he said. We have to act now. His ships reached the desert base. Land and secure the target, he ordered. Use drones if needed. No mistakes. At the base, Lena's voice echoed through the halls. Federation units incoming. We don't have much time. Juno helped Mira move to the escape tunnel, but she stopped suddenly. No, Mira said. I need to sing again. One last time. Mira, Fallon began, but she shook her head. If they're listening, all of them. Then, I want to say the right thing. She returned to the dish, now glowing with a soft blue light. As the drones neared, Mira raised her voice. She didn't sing words, she sang meaning. A song full of light, of hope, of the earth's winds and oceans, of sadness and strength. The melody climbed into the stars, and then something happened. Above the earth, the alien ship moved. It unfolded silently, revealing a glowing network of lines like veins of light. A wave of soft energy spread outward, not a weapon, but a signal. The Federation ship stopped mid-air. Their systems went quiet. One by one, Drones powered down and floated gently to the ground. Commander Rive stared at his screen. What is this? Fallon smiled. That's her answer. From space, a voice spoke again. Bridger has been heard. The gate is open. The path begins now. The sky shimmered. A gentle spiral of stars formed above Earth, like a symbol drawn in the sky. People around. The planet looked up. And for the first time in a long time, they didn't feel alone. They felt connected. The Federation called off the attack. Public pressure rose quickly. News networks picked up Mira's message. People demanded peace, understanding, and respect. Mira, once a forgotten singer, now stood as a symbol of something new. Not war, not fear, a bridge between worlds, between people, between the old and the unknown. That night, Mira sat beside Fallon in the quiet base. Do you think they'll come? She asked. Fallon looked at the stars. They already have. The world had changed. Across cities, villages, islands, and space stations, people were no longer talking about war, money, or power. They were talking about a girl who once sang on a sidewalk, whose voice had reached the stars. That girl was Mira. She now stood on a stage built in Earth's orbit, inside a peaceful station floating above the planet. Below, billions of people were watching. Around her, world leaders, scientists, students, and even children had gathered not as rulers, but as listeners. And above them all, the alien ship waited silently. The spiral symbol glowed gently on its surface. It had not spoken again, but it had not left either. It hovered, patient and still, like a teacher waiting for its student to speak. Today, Mira would answer. Fallon stood nearby, watching her prepare. His eyes were calm, but his heart was full. He remembered the first time he saw her, sitting on a crate in a broken city, singing a song no one understood. Now, the world understood. You okay? He asked. Mira nodded slowly. I think so. Whatever happens, Fallon said. You've already done something incredible. She smiled gently. I didn't do it alone. She stepped forward. A quiet hum filled the station. Cameras floated gently in the air, sending her image across Earth and to the far edges of space. Mira took a deep breath. Then she spoke. My name is Mira. I was born with no family, no home, and no idea where I belonged. For a long time, I thought I was invisible. Just another voice on a busy street. She looked up at the stars, but the voice inside me was never just mine. It came from something older, something beyond this world. A message, hidden in song, waiting to be heard. The room stayed silent. When I sang, something woke up. Not just in machines or ships, but in people. We remembered what it meant to listen, to care, to hope. She turned to face the spiral. Ship through the large window. You called me a bridger. You said I opened the path, but I am not alone. Humanity is ready now. Not because we are perfect, but because we are willing to grow. She paused, then added softly, this is our answer. Then she sang. This time, the song was different. It still held the same melody from before, but now it carried new notes Mira created herself. She added memories to the song, laughter from children, the sound of wind, the heartbeat of Earth. Her voice carried not just her soul, but the spirit of her people. Of humanity. As her voice filled the station, something stirred in the stars. The Puri alien ship responded. Its lights glowed brighter, and a soft golden wave spread across the sky. Then, slowly, panels opened along its side. A circular doorway appeared, filled with light. From within, a being stepped forward. It was not like a human, but it was not frightening. It had soft flowing movements, glowing eyes, and a gentle face. It walked with calm steps and stood in front of the glass. Everyone stared. The being raised a hand not as a threat, but as a greeting. Mira stepped forward and placed her hand on the glass. A soft voice echoed in the station. Not through speakers, not from machines, but directly into their minds. We hear you, we welcome your song and your spirit. Mira's eyes filled with tears, not of fear, but of joy. You are not our creation. You are our hope. Your voice proves your people are ready, not for orders, but for understanding. Another wave of golden light passed through the station. Screens lit up with symbols and peaceful images, galaxies, stars, other life forms. It was an invitation. You have opened the path. Now walk it, together. The being stepped back, and the doorway closed, but the ship did not leave. It stayed. Days passed. The Federation, once silent, spoke openly now. Commander Rive, who had once tried to capture Mira, resigned quietly. He left a message before he disappeared. I was wrong. She was never a threat. She was the answer. Around the world, people started to change. Not in big ways at first, but in small, important ones. Countries paused their arguments. Scientists began working together. Music became more than art. It became a way to connect. Mira became a symbol, but she never wanted to be a leader. Instead, she became a teacher. Back at Ecliptech, Mira returned to the rooftop where her journey began. She sat on the bench, looking up at the stars. Fallon sat beside her. It's quiet now, he said. I like quiet, Mira replied. You ever miss the street? He asked, joking. She smiled. Sometimes. It's where I found my voice. But now, I want to help others find theirs. Fallon looked at her, proud. What do you think they'll do next? He asked, glancing at the ship above. I think, Mira said, they're waiting for us to take the next step. Not with ships or weapons, but with our hearts. She looked up again. The stars didn't seem so far anymore. They didn't. Come to rule, she whispered. They came to listen, and now, so must we. Months later, a second ship arrived, smaller, peaceful, and carrying tools, books, and music. The beings inside didn't speak through machines, but through sound and feeling. And for the first time in human history, two species sat together, not in fear, but in harmony. Because of a girl, because of a song,